Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Dozen Cats. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Tuesday. I am so sorry that I had to change the time of this stream. The plain and simple truth is that with my anxiety, I need to be on a set schedule, and doing this new stream has thrown my schedule off, as it were, and I haven't been able to sleep the last couple of nights, and today it caught up with me. So I apologize for having to change the time. I may need to just sort of, gradually ease my way into the daytime programming situation. So I thank you all for your patience. Hi, Hershey. How you doing, love? So I want to talk about some stuff today while we're here for this next little bit. Nothing, or extraordinary, but just a few thoughts that have popped into my mind. And we'll pull some cards. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them up in the chat. And, let's just enjoy our afternoon coffee break together. Hi, honey. Thank you. I'm so tired, you guys. I mean, look at me. I look tired. But that's just because, like I said, I switched my routine up, and it's always a challenge for me when I switch my routine up. It really throws me off. And I do want to announce that I think that I'll probably change this, and maybe only do it like 2 or 3 days a week instead of 4. I will be putting the daily videos back up because the plan sounded great in my head, but implementing it is a different story, and it's hard to do when there's people watching, and you're in the flow of a live stream to sort of stop what you're doing and do the daily video. So the daily readings will come back. They'll start next Monday. And this coffee break will happen maybe like 2 times a week. And hopefully that will help with the balance. Hi, Gerald. It's good to see you, my friend. Gerald and I will be on with Allie at Heart and Soul Connected tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern for rock, paper, and scissor readings. So I hope that you can tune in. It's always a good time when Gerald and Allie and I hang out. So we're looking forward to that. So, oh, yes, it's for 5 for 4 to 5, honey. I'll text you as soon as I'm done. It's grocery pickup, friends. Which is one of the reasons why I couldn't get to sleep, because I was trying to coordinate that. And of course, the 2 places that offer grocery pickup here in this small little town where we live didn't have the things that I wanted. So, and I'm not paying more money just because of convenience. So I was trying to sort all that out. But anyway. Hi, Cartomancy. So, how you guys all doing? Happy Tuesday. What's going on? What's new? What's exciting? What's news and exciting in your world? I have nothing to report. Rock, paper, scissors. Interesting. Yeah. It's a little fun reading that Allie came up with, and we did it. I don't know, maybe about 2-3 months back, and it was really fun. So. We like to create these fun little things. At least I know I do, and I know Gerald does too. And so does Allie. Just to sort of change things up, and the reading is still the reading, and it's still very significant and pertinent. But you can change it up. Like, for example, I did readings when. You'll appreciate this, Hershey. I did readings for when the groundhog will or will not see its shadow, or did not see its shadow. And so we went through some names of the different beavers and whatever that are out there, and we called them all different, or groundhogs, not beavers, and called them all kinds of different names. And so it was like, one seen a shadow, one did not see a shadow, and then the other one, they weren't sure if he seen a shadow or not. So it was like Willie, Philly, and I don't know, Freddie or something like that. And that turned into a hoot of a show because people were having fun with the names, right? You want me to do YONs with someone? What's YON? Tell me what YON is. Oh, we got all the animals out here. There's Austin. Say hi, Austin. Rosie is in the window. Hi, bud. What are you doing? Well, come say hi. Nope. I had a daydream of tarot Pictionary. That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, I like to change it up. Last year at the fire pit, Gerald and Allie joined me, and it turned into what Allie lovingly referred to it as interpretive tarot. And that was a hoot. Let's pull a card, why don't we? Because why not? Right? All right, honey. Love you. Hi, Vivian. It's good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? All right. Let's pull a card. Look at that. So we've got the Fool card coming out. And I love the image on this deck. It says, have the courage to embrace change, take risks, and be adventurous. It's so hard, isn't it, friends, to embrace change? We don't like change as human beings. We resist it with everything in us. I think we're all very much creatures of habit, and some of us need more of a, almost like a structured sort of path to get to the change. You know what I mean? Like to help us navigate the change. And it's interesting because when you get on the other side of the change, oftentimes, you either find that you just roll with it and you adapt and implement as you go, or you get on the other side of the change and you realize that was the best change that you ever could have done for yourself. And it's interesting to me as human beings that we resist sometimes the things that turn out to be amazing for us, right? Yep, new journey and have fun with it. Absolutely. So here's an interesting question, friends, because I love trivia and I love these kinds of when we do this, right? When I pull cards and we sort of have a chat about it. So if you could decide in this moment to be adventurous, to embrace a change, what change would you want to embrace today? If you feel like sharing in the chat. I want to embrace being more flexible. I have been so rigid, I'll call it, and set in my ways for such a long time that I don't remember what it was like to be, sort of go with the flow Kelly. I used to be go with the flow Kelly, a lot more so than I am now. However, having said that, a good majority of my life was extremely structured. We were all in school. That was very structured. My home life was very structured because I tried to balance my home life with my extracurricular activities. I was a baton twirler from the age of 4 to 21-ish, almost 22. That was extremely structured because I was in a military, what they call a military corps. Then for my career, I worked in a group home. That's what I was, educated to do. I worked in a group home with developmentally challenged and physically challenged individuals. And that's a very structured environment. And then I went from there into, accounting and credit, and that's very structured. So my whole sort of life has been about structure and doing things that have like a step-by-step process. You can't really go off into the border. You have to kind of like, stay within the lines. And so when I think about it like that, I have a tendency to sort of lift up and back off of myself and not view it as a negative, if you will get what I mean. And so this is why I think these little exercises are interesting, because we can figure something out about ourselves, perhaps, that allows us to think of it in a different way, that lessens the pressure and allows us to gain that perspective to be able to move forward. Hershey says, I want to be more expressive with my feelings instead of holding my words. You know what I just literally popped in my mind when you said that, Hershey, is so I don't leave my house, right? And when I started to really like feel like the first time that I enclosed myself in my home and chose not to leave, like intentionally, I used to go for a drive in my car to this like local, it was like a school, not in a creepy way, friends. Bye, Gerald. See you later. Thank you for being here. Have a good show, my friend. When we used to, when I would go to the school and I would walk around like the field, right? It had a soccer field, a baseball field, and all that kind of stuff. And I started walking one day. So I was sitting in the car and I was watching all these people. It was on the weekend, all these people, in the playground with their kids playing baseball, and I was sitting in the car and I literally was frozen in fear. I literally couldn't move. And I just said, Kelly, like, you've got to get out of the car. It's going to make me cry. I was just like, you have to move. Right. And I was so afraid. I was just, I don't even know. I don't know what I was afraid of, but in my car, I felt like I was in control. Out there in the big bad wild open, even though it was only 3 feet in front of me, felt so risky. And anyways, I pushed myself. I got out of the car, and I decided that there was like 2 soccer goalposts that I would walk between, from one goalpost to the other goalpost. And I did it, and I felt really good. And then I walked back, and it felt really good. And then I took a video, and I filmed myself walking to the next, back to the other goalpost, and I sent it to my husband. I'm like, woo, look at me. And, he was very supportive as always. And the next thing I know, I was like, I'm just going to do it until I don't want to do it anymore. There was no like, do it 5 times, do it 20 times. I was just going to do it. And in that moment when I was doing it, I was talking to myself. There were parts of that conversation that were like a rant. There was parts of those conversations where it was very affirmational, like, you can do it. Like, I'm so proud of you. You go, girl. You got it. Blah, blah, blah. Like those kind of things. And there was other parts of those conversations where it was like I was being my own best friend, as if my best friend and I were walking, right? Or my sister or my husband or something like that. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay that you're tired. It's okay that you're out of breath. I mean, you haven't done this. There's no expectation. You're fine. You're good. And I really was like my own personal cheerleader in that moment. And that allowed me to not just understand it logically, but really see it in motion, as if I was watching myself. How important it is to be your own cheerleader, how important it is to speak your truth, to say how you feel, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions in the moment, whether it makes sense or it doesn't. And in that context of me being able to do that by myself, outside where, no one, I mean, they might have all thought I was nuts if they were watching me talking to myself, but I felt safe. So there was no issue of acceptance or belonging, or that I was crazy, or that people were looking at me funny, or none of that, because it was just me and nature. You know what I mean? And I found doing that really, really helped me moving forward to make myself feel heard, I guess is the best way I can explain it. Hi, Bims. Hi, Jessica. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, sometimes we've got to be our own coach, and there's nothing wrong with being your own coach, you know? Gotta love yourself up, friends. Gotta love yourself up. All right, let's pull another card. Let's see what else we get here. Beautiful. Look at that. We've got the dragonfly. Gorgeous. Have confidence during this time of great joy, renewal, and connection to spirit. So you've got this, have the courage to embrace the change, to take the risk and be adventurous. And the second card, the follow-up to that, is telling us that we have the confidence during this time of great joy, renewal, and connection to spirit. And it's like we know that, right? If you're a spiritual person, if you're on a spiritual path, you have sort of connected those dots, that if you are connected to spirit, if you're open to that world, if you're open to that viewpoint, that understanding, that if you embrace it and really, really work on coming from a place of love and gratitude and, really practicing that, of lifting your vibration and keeping it up. Not only is your connection to spirit, it's like all systems go, but you feel lighter. Do you know how many times in the last maybe, well, it doesn't happen so much now. It was like January, February, March, April of last year, that people would come into the chat and say to me, wow, what a transformation. You're not sitting like this anymore, because that's how I used to be. My shoulders, I was so stressed. My shoulders were up in my ears. I used to call it my turtle phase, when my head was still inside my shell. And all it is just it's a new understanding. That's what it is. And I say that's all it is, as if it was, that simple. It's not. It's difficult because, again, as we said, we don't like change. Change usually means that we have to do something, that we have to work, right? We have to put in effort. And I'm not saying that any of us are lazy, but it's difficult to, reteach yourself something. We've known this way of doing things for, 20, 30, 40, 50 years in some cases. And now all of a sudden we're like, no, that's not right. We need to course correct. It's really, really hard to do. So when you allow yourself to come from that place of joy and blessings, where you find the simplest moments have the most amount of joy and love in them, this is just my personal opinion, that's when I think that your connection to spirit really sort of blossoms, shall we call it. Hi, Liz. Hi, Kindness and Light. Hi, Lisa. All right, let's pull another card. By the way, this is the Fortune Oracle. Love this deck. It's so cute. It's got the prettiest pattern on the back of the card. Blue and pink. Oh, pardon me. Sorry. Wow. We've got the Mountain, card number 22, or master number 22, if you're into numerology. This card says, know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. So I think that this is really interesting, because this is all about that change and that joy, right? That's how you head out facing the challenge, or pointing yourself at said change or challenge, right? By knowing that you are protected, by knowing that you are about to, like, shift things for the better, hopefully. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Bims. Bims says, when I was leaving an abusive relationship, I was scared of everything and thought for sure if there was one more thunderstorm, I'd lose my last marble. 100%. Bims, been there, done that. And here's what's interesting. When you have the ability in that moment to say to yourself, I can totally do this, right? I'm not afraid. I've got this. And you give it, you give it all of your energy, all of your oomph, you know what I mean? All of your gusto, and you just sort of like go for it. Then while the going for it is happening, while you're in that process, you're trying to lift yourself up, but things are not as you thought that they would be, because now the reality of the change has set in, if you understand what I mean. Like, for example, when I left my ex-husband, I convinced myself that, he never could hold a job down. I had to, like, 2 jobs. And so I was never concerned that I would not be able to provide for myself. I thought, like, this is a piece of cake, right? Man, I tell you, friends. And I don't think that that's abnormal. I think in that moment that I idealized my situation in terms of trying to boost my confidence and my strength and my fortitude, that I could do this on my own, that I was determined to be successful, like I'll show him kind of attitude, right? And then I got out there, and my strength lasted for about 2 months, and I completely fell apart. I think that's part of the change process, right? When we have something that we want to do, we want to achieve, we want to try, we sort of, work on this outcome, where we want to land, where the end result, the final destination is, and we create this very idyllic sort of situation in our minds. And sometimes it's necessary to do that. I will say that. But we create this very idyllic sort of situation in our minds, and that's our outcome. And then we head straight for that outcome, bypassing all of the other stuff that it's like driving through a tunnel, right? You're just looking at the light. You're not looking at the sides. You're looking at the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's a very slippery slope. So you got to be really, really careful that your outcome is actually where you're supposed to be, is actually where you want to end up, because you miss so much of the journey. And sometimes the most profound and significant and beautiful things happen while in the journey, right? So, hi, Vivian. Vivian C, that is. Okay, so what have I missed here? So, Bim says, I've walked in those shoes before. Bim says, I was scared of everything for a long time. Her says, I still have some shadows from it, Bims. It's a full-time job some days to overcome fears caused from someone else. That was also the time that I had nightly dreams of fall. Yeah. Listen, what I think is so empowering and so beautiful, and why I love being able to be here with you all, is this. When these moments happen that are very sort of powerful, magical, and unexpected, right? I mean, I didn't get on here today and think that I was going to be talking about this, and here we are. And, Spirit guided this conversation. And so I think that because we have people in the chat that have experienced it, and we have people in the chat that may be feeling a certain level of trepidation or fear about, having to change things in their life or to implement change into their life. we're having this conversation, and through this conversation, someone's going to hear something, someone's going to think about something, someone is going to see something that's written in the chat or in the comments, and it could change their understanding. It could change their perspective. It could offer them a different method of approaching change or fear, or being focused on an outcome or whatever. And I think that that's totally beautiful. And I thank you for being here today and for interacting, because this is how it works. I can't have these conversations by myself, because then people will call me crazy. All right. I haven't missed anything. Okay. Yeah. So let's pull another card. And I think it's also interesting that Spirit is telling us a story through these cards, which is, that's unplanned. That's unexpected. You guys can hear me shuffling. You can see me shuffling. Absolutely, Bims. I can ask them, but my gut instinct, my initial reaction when you asked that question is because you were running. You were literally running away from the fear. You were running away from the things that made you feel like not accepted, not heard. You weren't being able to stand in your own truth, that kind of vibe. You were literally running for your life, running towards a better life. That meant that you were feeling more whole or more one, if you will. But I'll definitely throw some cards. Friends, you can't make this up. It's beautiful. We have love. I mean, look at that card. Hearts and roses and sparkles. Love. Love surrounds all your connections. Move forward positively in all areas of your life. Like I said, when you have that understanding, that, I mean, two things come to mind. One is, you deserve all the happiness that you can create for yourself. You deserve to live in abundance and joy and comfort and contentment. You deserve that. So why not just adopt that attitude? Why not just sit back and put your feet up and be like, woohoo, right? Well, the only reason that you don't do that is because you are fearful, right? And where does that fear come from? That fear normally, usually, typically comes from your past environment, your past, your childhood, your parents, passed down, right? Could be a past life that's influencing you. They tell you when you're 13 years old, when you're in grade 8 and you're ready to plan for going to high school, you need to know what you're supposed to do when you grow up. What courses do you want to take? You got to map your future out. You're 13. I didn't know what I wanted to eat for dinner when I was 13. Do you know what I mean? Like, how do you know? Society and the environment in which we live, every job interview that you've gone to, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 2-year plan? What's your 10-year plan if we hire you? Where do you see yourself in this company in the future, right? We have all of these influences from society that tell us that we're supposed to have it all figured out. And now we get to this place in our life where we're asking ourselves to not worry about the future and just be in the present moment. It is a total contradiction of everything that we have known and everything that we have learned thus far. But we also know from our experiences growing up and getting to the point that we're at in this stage, wherever you are in your life, that when you are in the moment, when you stay present in that moment, that's when you have the best time. That is when you notice things. That's when you focus and you can pay attention and you can really embrace the joy and the connection and the feeling and the environment and the blessings, right? We know this. We've all experienced it. And it's really, really, really difficult to blend those two things together. because as individuals, I don't care who you are, we want to control it, because controlling things, knowing what's about to happen, having no false expectations allows us to sort of bounce from one thing to the other with little to no, fluctuation, and not asking us to be really mindful of a whole lot other than what we need to do when we get to point B. Right? This and I want it's not a new approach, but it's like a newer understanding that I am just coming to terms with, of allowing myself the opportunity to stop and to feel the unexpected joy. And when I do that once, I realize how many moments throughout my day, my week, my month, my whatever, that has so many beautiful, blessed moments in it that I totally didn't even think about before. Think about when you sit on the couch or the chair, on the bed, whatever, and you curl up with a good book, or you put your favorite movies on, or the cat jumps in your lap. What does that do for you? Think about that for a moment, right? So you're sitting there in the living room chair, and the cat jumps up in your lap, and the cat circles in your lap, and then it sits down, and then it gets up and it does another circle, and you can start to feel the warmth of the cat's body sort of penetrating your body, right? There is a bond, there is a connection that's happening. Then the cat curls up, and you start to stroke the cat, and you feel the tactile experience of the furry softness of their coat, right? And they start to purr. You can feel the vibration through your body. You can hear the purr. That makes you smile, because you know that you are giving them comfort. You are giving them love. The two of you are so connected in that moment. And as you are stroking the cat and petting the cat and feeling that luscious, gorgeous softness of their fur, and you hearing them purring, and you can feel that vibration through your body, you immediately start to smile, because you know that you have provided that love and that comfort for that cat, and that cat has chosen you. That cat chose you. You're giving it love, and it's telling you back, for every little vibrated kind of purr that it gives you, I love you most and more than anything else. Now, friends, if that doesn't make your heart go with fireworks, I don't know what will. That is a glorious, unexpected, joyful, blessed moment that we experience all the time. And most of us don't give it a bit of attention. And I think that we need to, because we have so many of those, right? All right. So Bims asked a question, and that was, why did she have the dream where she was falling? And I seen what she had written about, running away from yourself, running away from something, running towards another thing. Hi, Sylvia. How are you, my friend? I don't know why I mean, it's not that much of a stretch, but I feel like, when you're running late and you're trying to get somewhere, you've got somewhere to go, and you're like, yeah, I'm totally cool. I got 20 minutes. I'm fine. Right. And you're very relaxed as you go about, picking up your last bit of things, collecting your stuff before you leave. And then all of a sudden you get sidetracked, and now you only have 10 minutes, and you start to panic. Nothing has changed. Like, the scenario is exactly the same as it was before, right? Nothing has changed. But now you're panicked. Why? because the expectation that you set for yourself, that you were going to leave at said time so that you could arrive at said time so that you could do X or Y, is now altered in some way, right? And I feel that your dream was trying to show you or express to you in some way about the panic of the alteration, if that makes sense. Hi, Jay. It's good to see you. Friends, Ron and Jay will be joining me this Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Not sure if we'll be at the fire pit because, of course, it's weather permitting, but that is the goal, is that we will be out at the fire pit. So I hope you guys can tune in for that. Bear with me. I had 4 cards fall on the floor. All right, this is what I've got. This is beautiful. So the first card that I've got, Bims, for you is Lovers. Okay. Now, the message on this card is what's important. There are 2 paths ahead. Be true to yourself. So literally, that's what I'm talking about. It's like what's changed, but now all of a sudden I'm in a panic. Do you understand what I mean? And it's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. 5 minutes ago I had 20 minutes and now I only have 5. I don't understand what happened. Do you know what I mean? We have this lovely card of Ego. What a gorgeous image on that card. The message on this card says you will soar towards your destiny with greater clarity and strength. So you're literally running towards the exit. You're trying to find your exit. You're trying to find your the little crack in the wall that the ants come in or the mice come in. You're trying to find that because I think that you feel trapped, right? I literally feel like you're stuck in a round room looking for the exit, and you feel a sense of panic, okay? And then we have these last 2 cards, and I mean, this is fantastic. I honestly don't know which one to read first, but I'll show them to you. Hopefully you can see them without the glare there. We have Wish and Angel. So the Angel card says, your angels are guiding and protecting you on your spiritual journey. So when that feeling of falling is the thing that probably startled you the most about the dream and would probably wake you up, right? Or when you woke up, that's what you remembered the most. That was the most significant feeling. But you didn't fall. The falling is like the dip. It's the obstacle. It's the challenge. It's the, when you're in the bumper cars and you're hitting the cars and you're hitting the side, but you got all that rubber around you. You're okay. You're fine. You're resilient and you're resistant and you're determined, right? Then we've got Wish. I mean, what a glorious image that is. Like, to me, this image reminds me of that cat moment. You know what I mean? Your heart's desire is ready to come true. So you said, and I'm not necessarily asking you to share this with us. That's up to you. But what I'm asking you to do is to think about this. I would love to know, in the future, like journal about this. So you had this dream that was reoccurring where you were falling. When's the last time that you recall having that dream, and what was going on in your life? And what's changed since that dream reoccurred and that moment in time? What's changed? And I dare say that as you go through that exercise, you will find that in that moment when that dream stopped, you found your power. You found your exit door. You found where you wanted to go to next, right? Oh, really? I love it. Bim says, yes, I did not fall to the ground before I would wake up. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Well, my mama sits on the shelf behind me there. So I'm going to try and point. So that picture right there, right in the middle, that's my mama. She never left that spot. I mean, she's other places in the house, obviously, in her picture and I. But that's one of my favorites. There she is, right there, back there, right there. And next to her, right there, that little star on the back shelf next to her picture is the sign that you guys have seen in the office with me that says Believe. And I bought that from my mom at the hospital gift shop 4 days before she passed away. And it doesn't go very far for me. There's two things, right? My mom's favorite word was believe. And you do, man. You gotta believe. You gotta believe in something. You gotta believe in you. You gotta believe in your friends and in your family and in your support system. You gotta believe in spirit. I mean, you gotta believe in something. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what the hell? What is the point? It's so toxic and mean-spirited and nasty out there sometimes if we're very boxed in. You know what I mean? So yeah, you gotta believe. Okay, so Bim says, when I met my wonderful husband, I eventually stopped having those dreams when I knew I was safe. My friend, many blessings to you. That is freaking awesome. Love that. Love it. Bim says, that was a powerful, rejuvenating read. Can't thank you enough. Many blessings to you, Bims. You're most welcome, my friend. Because that, my friend, what you just said to me makes me tear up, because I know that you needed to hear that, and Spirit did that for me. I just told you what the card said, and you just reconfirmed for me why I need to do this, why I need to be here. So thank you. It goes both ways, my friends. Very much Six of Pentacles action happening here today. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Many blessings to you. Hershey said, and Mr. Cloud went across the right door wall very quickly. That's beautiful. Hershey says, you will have to go back and see it was wonderful. I absolutely will. Hi, Thomas. All right. So, Hershey, you had a question, right, love? Could you do me a favor, please, and just sort of, put it back in the chat? Because for me to try to go up the chat is virtually impossible. It doesn't work for me. All right. I don't know. I don't know why my neck is really bugging me today, you guys. Like, it's not. I have an old neck injury. So if you see me doing this, I don't, or like doing a whole bunch of moving around, don't think that I'm losing it or I'm uncomfortable. It's just because my neck is bothering me, so I'm trying to keep limber. And I'm having a smoke. Sorry. New creature or animal coming. I'm walking on new ground next week. Interesting. So I just want to mention again, while I have you guys here, I love you all. You know that I love you, and I'm trying to work out, this sort of coming on during the daytime because it feels right, and I want to connect with people that I don't normally get a chance to connect with, and switching up my schedule seemed like a great idea on piece of paper, but implementing it is a whole other idea. And I resist any kind of fluctuation in my schedule. It's a real problem for me. So without going on too much, I just want to say that the daily videos will resume on Monday because it's too difficult for me to do the daily reading as part of this stream. Or maybe I will get there eventually, but right now I will separate them. And I think that way there, nobody's going to feel like left out. I had a comment left on my under yesterday's stream, and I thought about it, and it was a very nice comment. So, I thanked the person kindly, and I was like, you know what, I have a lot of people that have supported me and followed me for a long time that watch those daily videos, daily and don't miss. And so I'll put those back on Monday. And this stream here, I'll probably end up doing this like 2 days a week instead of like 4 days in a row. So that way there I can do the night and the day. Aw, you're so sweet. You're so sweet, Bims. Thank you. And thank you, Amanda. It's good to see you, my friend. I love you right back. All right, so this is for Hershey. Yeah, we are critters of habit. I am totally a creature of habit. I think I've always been a creature of habit. It's funny, I was talking about this earlier. We sort of touched on this, how when you were younger, this particular thing that you did was acceptable and you actually kind of embraced it. Now, as you're getting sort of older, all of a sudden it's a problem, and it's an obstacle and a challenge, and it's the thing that gets in your way. And it's difficult to wrap our head around how is it that something served us before, but now it doesn't? Well, it's no different than going to your closet. Like, why is that out of fashion? Says who? You decide if that works for you or not. You have to be flexible, though, in order to, to sort of make small little necessary adjustments, as if you were like tailoring a piece of clothing, right? Because it all comes back, friends. It all comes back into fashion. Well, I don't need to pull any more cards, Hershey. I mean, seriously, this is crazy. Spirit's with me today. We've got intuition and happiness. You let this be your guide. That's your result. Sometimes it's just that simple and you don't need 28 cards to explain it. But literally, that's what I got. Intuition and happiness. You use your intuition, you listen to it, you embrace it, you let that be your guide, and that will be where your happiness is found. So, whatever you want to do, whether you want to bring an animal into your house or into your life, or whether you want to move, you want to take up cooking, maybe you want to take up skiing. What does your gut instinct tell you? What's your intuition tell you? I love it. See, this, my friends, is why I love that I was encouraged to start my channel. Because I had no idea that I had any connection to spirit. I mean, I've always known that I had some kind of like weird knowing thing going on, but I never paid any attention to it. I just like, well, isn't that weird? Huh? That was it. That's as much attention as I gave it. I didn't pay any attention to it. If you had have told me 6 months ago, or not 6 months ago now, because I've been doing this for a year and a half. If you told me, 2 years ago that I would be tossing cards and talking to spirit, I would have told you were cray-cray. You have been drinking the Kool-Aid for a bit too long, friend. You might want to take a step back. Like, I wouldn't have believed you because I was like, whatever. Well, you're coming, Thomas, next Wednesday. Right? Now, let's talk about that since we're here. Okay? Because right now we've got Hershey the Shadow Reader, we've got Tarot Your Way, we've got Cartomancy Mesquite, we've got Kindness and Light in here. we're all readers, right? And forgive me if I left anyone out. That wasn't my intention. I'm just going to say this out loud, and I don't know how popular of an opinion it's going to be. Everybody is individual. Everybody has their own strengths and their own weaknesses. And of course, when you're just starting out, it seems so much easier, so much less nerve-wracking, if you will, to want to have someone come with you, join you, share that space with you. Because then you're not out there on your own. When this happens, what we've been doing here today, I can't do this with another person. No offense to the people that I work with, because I've had the distinct honor of working with a lot of people on this channel, and I'm very grateful. And I love, the experience of that. And there are so many people like Cardamancy Mesquite. She's with me all the time. I love her. Angela is one of my dearest friends, and tossing cards with her, sharing the screen with her is like it's Tuesday. You know what I mean? It seems so natural and so normal and so comfortable for me that I don't feel any kind of problem. The point that I'm trying to make is right now in this moment, it's about me and you guys. And we're having this back and forth conversation that I can't have when my guest is here or when my guests are here, because I have to pay attention to them, have to bring them into the conversation. And I personally, get so excited when these moments sort of create themselves that I sort of like forget that there's other people around me, and I'm just like very like focused on what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? And so if I had a guest, I'd totally ignore them, or I'd be talking over top of them, which is rude. And I do it all the time, but that's because I get excited. I'm passionate, friends. So all I'm trying to say to you is to be conscious that you don't sort of over guest yourself, and that you bring a guest in at appropriate moments. I also think that it's important for your own personal confidence that you are able to do the live by yourself, so that you know that you can do it. And the reason why I say that is this. I had someone tell me one time that I was over guesting myself, that it felt like to them that I wasn't able to do a show on my own. Friends, I was like, what? So just something to think about when you're booking guests, right? Make sure that the guests that you're booking are appropriate for the thing that you do, because you could be best of friends, right? You could have the best energy vibe going, but for whatever reason, you and that person don't resonate to the people that are watching based on the topic that you're discussing or that you're reading about or whatever. So you have those are something, that's something else that you need to take into consideration, I think. And let's say hello to Twisted Sushi. Every time I see your name, I absolutely love it. It's like I have to stop and look at it and go, what? I love it. Okay, so kindness and light. Yes, that is for sure, Kelly. For me, I can do the alone, but not live. The more, the merrier. Yeah. I'm better if I have someone to bounce off of. I have a block of feeling normal and pause too long by myself. Okay, so that's something else that is important to discuss. I've also been told that I have a problem with dead air. So when you're by yourself and there's a pause, like I use StreamYard 99.9% of the time when I'm doing my lives, right? And there's a pause. There's like a 10-second, 15-second pause between what I'm seeing and what's actually happening in YouTube. And I get freaked out. When I turn that camera on and I go live and no one's here, and I have to start talking to myself, I get a little freaked out. And I've been doing this a long time. I got a lot of videos under my belt. You don't, I think it's good to be a little bit nervous every time, like not nervous, scared, but like a little bit like on your toes. You know what I mean? Because that keeps you humble. That keeps you honest. and that keeps you focused on the task at hand. You know, what is it that what's your message today? What are you trying to get out today? But I would still say, for me, and this is just for me, this is no shade against anybody else. This is just my personal opinion, that for me, what I have to do, I have to be able to sit here and do what we're doing today, so that I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Do you know what I mean? I'll tell you, I promise each and every one of you that have never done a live by yourself before, the minute that you turn that camera on and you go live, see, here's the thing, friends. It's not about what's happening between here and here, like me and this camera. That's not what's happening here. That's not what this is about. What this is about is what I'm reading, what you're telling me. You are interacting with me, and we're basically having a Zoom call. Like, that's how I look at it. We're having a Zoom call, right? You're all there with me, and we're having a Zoom conversation. I take my cue from you guys, right? You guys navigate this. I don't navigate this. I may show up with an idea or a plan or a thought. You guys navigate what I say. Spirit navigates what I say, whether it be through the cards or the chat. Do you know what I mean? And that really helps me, because then I don't have like a fear about it. Do you know what I mean? But friends, I'm a talker. I mean, hello, shock, right? I know you're all sitting there going, "What? I had no idea." I love to talk. So for me, this is perfect, right? Rosie's. This is her killer bark right here. She's like, she's sitting in the windowsill. Hi, Laura. So yeah. So for those of you that are going live, you know what? You got to do it at some point. And if you need help, you know that I'm here to help you. I've said that to many people, because going live is a thing, right? And it takes a while to work up to a feeling of comfortability. But when it comes to guests, I don't want anyone, I don't care what it is that you're doing, to ever feel like you can't do something on your own, that, that you need a buddy or a partner or something. I'm pretty sure if y'all tossed a card right now, that Spirit would tell you that you don't need a support person. The support people are the people that are going to come in the chat. Just something to think about, friends. No offense or shade intended. It takes time to work it up. And I will say that for anyone who thinks that this is easy, no matter what the content is that you're creating, to sit here and to welcome people into your home or to your car or to your life or to your workplace or wherever you're filming from, is very difficult to sort of cross that threshold, right? Because you sit here and you forget that you're showing things and talking about things, and I'm sharing my personal experiences with you, and you have to be conscious that this is the internet. And for as much as I'd like to think that we're all friends, I'm not in control of who watches this back afterwards. And so there's a lot of reconciliation that has to happen within yourself, and also with the other people in your household, that it's okay that you share, like, the pets' names and their names and, the things that you do. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be very, very conscious of that. This may be your gig, but maybe it's not, your wife or your husband's or your son or daughter's jam to have their whole business thrown out there. So you have to be really cognizant of that. Kindness and Light says, we are home and we have our pets to talk to, but when we get to talk to people, I talk a lot. And friend, there's no shade in that. No shade. Tarot Your Way says, Kelly, I know you mix tarot and oracle decks. Do you think mixing 2 or more tarot decks in a reading would work? Here's the thing. I don't think that there's any set precedent for, and this is just my personal opinion, for how many decks you use. I can't really explain it. And that is a question that I always used to have prior to starting the channel, and then sort of getting to a certain point where I was trying to understand what was happening to me in terms of, like, obviously something was happening. Like, I would sit there and do what I was doing with you guys in the beginning. Someone's talking, I'm shuffling the cards, a card would come out, and it's like, wow, that's interesting, huh? It's funny, isn't it? That's exactly what you were talking about. And people in the chat were the ones that were telling me, Kelly, you're connected, you're a reader, you're a reader, you're a reader. And I'm like, no, I'm not. When I finally started to embrace it and to own it, only then did I stop asking that question of, well, how do you know which decks to use, and, you know, how many decks, and, like, do I have to do this, and how many cards, and all that. When I show up here and I'm tossing cards, even when we're having our Achieving Wellness talks, and it's not really about cards, it's about a conversation. I'm not totally different off camera, but I'm totally different in terms of, like, I'm fully open. Whatever's going to come out is going to come out. And I try not to beat myself up afterwards, because it was meant to come out. Do you understand what I mean? So I try to prepare. That's why I have some sort of a plan as to what I'm going to do. And you guys have seen that if you followed me for a while in terms of, like, my daily readings. You know, right? One day it's purple, the next day it's red, the next day it's blue, then the other day it's yellow. Some days it's about animals, some days it's about the forest, some days it's about, you know, mindfulness. Like, I try to have an overall plan in my head to help me navigate, so I have a jump off point. But Spirit is the one that tells me. And when I go to pick a card, like, okay, when Hershey asked that question, why did I switch decks? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decks on the table out here. Why did I go to that deck for Bim's question, and then why did I go to Hershey's for like the next deck for Hershey's question? I don't know why. That's what I gravitated towards, and I don't question it. And I know that that's that's not an answer, and it's difficult to understand, but you got to go with your gut. So I would say, whatever you feel comfortable doing, if you feel comfortable with Oracle cards, and not everyone does, if you feel comfortable with tarot cards, test a few things out. Right? Test a few things out for you, love. So this is what I would suggest. You get yourself a deck of Oracle cards, right? Now, practice a couple of ways of reading. So maybe you show up and you're going to do, like, a daily video, and you say to yourself, because those are the hardest, because you don't have any input from others. So you say to yourself, okay, so do I just toss the cards and see what happens, or do I want to talk about something? Do I want to have a subject matter? Do I want to have a jump off point? If you want to have a jump off point, pull a card, Oracle or otherwise. A lot of people will use the Oracle cards for confirmation. You can start the conversation with an Oracle card, right? You pull an Oracle card and you're like, oh, this card is determination. What else do we need to know about determination? And then you pick up another deck and you start tossing cards about determination. And then your whole message is based on the subject matter of determination. You know, what falls under the umbrella of determination. Totally up to yourself. And what I recommend is that you watch a bunch of people, the people with the hundreds of thousands of subscribers that put up daily videos, and watch a couple of those and see what resonates with you. Don't be afraid of Oracle cards. Oracle cards are great confirmations, but not everybody loves them. Not everybody uses them. And I honestly think that if you are meant to read and you are meant to give messages to people that are here asking you questions, allow yourself the freedom to feel it out. Because the message will come out. It doesn't matter what deck you use or how many decks you use. The message will come out if you're connected. Do you understand what I mean? So don't limit yourself is, I guess, what my answer would be. Okay. Liz needs positive message. Absolutely. Kindness and light says, isn't it a feel? Not always. Not always. It's a feeling. And you have to remember, not everybody gets feelings, right? Not everybody experiences their connection to spirit through feeling. Just, for me, it's just more like what I'm pulled towards. I suppose you could say that was a feeling, but it's more of a knowing for me. Hershey says, I had 4 or 5 when I did the live with Thomas, and I grabbed the deck that wanted to answer the questions. Yeah. And it's very different for everyone. Hi, Green Mountain Mystic. It's very different for everyone, and I don't think that anyone should limit themselves. And I also don't think that, we're all different, and we all read differently, and all of our messages. I mean, listen, we could all be on the screen together. Myself and Hershey and Thomas and Lisa and Cartomancy Mesquite, we could all be on the screen together, and Green Mountain Mystic as well. And we could all pull the exact same cards for the exact same question, and our message would be different because we read differently. Right? There is no right or wrong, and I think that people really need to get out of that sort of headspace. If you're reading tarot cards or oracle cards, it's important to know, the basic meaning behind this card. But you also have to allow yourself to be open to interpretation through, via your intuition, because based on the question, based on how you're feeling, based on, if any clairs are being activated during that transaction, and also the other cards that are coming out around it. I mean, you guys have heard me, right? It's like I feel cold, I feel hot, my head's tingling. Like I react in different ways. Sometimes I start crying. Like it's a very difficult thing to explain unless you've experienced it. I'm not saying that you guys haven't. I'm just saying you have to be very sort of kind to yourself and trust the process. Don't overthink it. There's no right or wrong answer for how many decks, how many cards, whatever. You do you the best that you know how. And as long as you get the message out with integrity and kindness, it will be received and it will be given to the person that requires it, right? Oh, you're welcome, Thomas. I can't really articulate the process because it's one of those things that is, like Tuesday it's one way, Wednesday it's a completely different way. I can't tell you that I do the same exact formula every single time because I know I don't, and I would be lying if I said that I did. It changes, and I'm not really in control of the change, but I don't. This is the one part of my life that I don't try to control. I just let it go. You know what I mean? All right, so Liz needs some kind of positivity. And for you, Liz, I brought this deck here. This is called the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck. I've had this deck for a bit, and I absolutely love it. I don't use it often because I sort of felt like I overused it when I first got it, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm all about the blue today. I have the chills, Green Mountain Mystic. My head is actually tingling, but I don't know if that's because of my neck or because of spirit. Bye, Hershey. Oh, you're very kind, my friend. I think you're a rock star. Thank you, Thomas. I'm glad that you understood it. All right. And they have the most lovely backs on them. Look, they're just gorgeous. Pink and blue and orange and diamonds and circles and sort of like that star when it explodes. I love the pattern on the back of these cards. And see, now that's what I think is a more interesting sort of, but very personal question. What decks are you drawn to? You know, are you drawn to decks that are colorful, that are vibrant, that have messages on them, that are very sort of, you know, nondescript, so there's not a lot of imagery? Or are you into ones that look really like, dark and or like animals or nature or whatever? Like, it's a hi, sweetheart. Hi, Rosie's awake. Hi, baby. You want to come on? Want to come on. You can do it. Come on, you can do it. Come. Oh, hi. Oh my God, you're so cute. You're adorable. Come. You're gonna make my nose run bending over like that. Come on. You can do it. All of a sudden, I've moved the stool and she doesn't know how to get on it. What? Come on. Yeah, come. Yeah. Everybody wants to say hi. Because you're adorable. What? Can I have a kiss? Here's your positivity message coming as soon as I get Rosie up here. Come on. Come see mommy. Yes. Come and see mommy. Yes. Come and see mommy, you little scraggy muffin. Yeah, you're a little scraggle muffin. What's that? This, friends, is Roxy the raccoon. Or a fox. We're not sure which. But anyway. What's that? Ready? Leave it. Good girl. Go get it. Good girl, Rosie. Yay, Rosie. All right. Bring it back to mommy. And we stopped. Okay. All right. Back to Liz. Sorry, friends. Apologize. All right. Back to Liz. All right, Spirit. What can you tell me about Liz? Pink and blue and orange. That all screams serene communication with compassion. Love it. Yeah. And everybody's different, right? And that's the thing. Like, certain cards will speak to certain readers for certain reasons. Most of my cards are either bright and colorful or like animals, you know, nature, angels, like soul helper kind of, you know, like inside stuff, emotions, you know what I mean? All right, so the first card that you've got out is the Peacock. I mean, beautiful card. Okay? Self-love. Time to celebrate you and all of your magnificent light. And I do believe that we said that yesterday to you. Okay? You had 3 cards fall out. The next card is the Panther and Protection. Consider who you allow to take your energy and who you give it away to freely. Now, that card sometimes, or those kinds of messages, can be perceived as slightly negative or slightly, you know, scary or cautious. All that means is to protect yourself so that you are always up. Your vibration is always high. That the outside noise and the outside world and all of the nonsense and the chaos and the negativity and the hate and the whatever, all of that stuff, you're not going to let that into your space because you're trying to maintain your vibration. That's what that means, right? And in order for you to be successful in your self-care, so you spend some time looking after yourself, loving yourself up, and for that feeling to stay, with you, you need to protect yourself. So that it's like you go to the hairdresser and you get your hair done, you walk out, you feel like, woohoo, look at me, I need to go somewhere. And then you go home and clean the house. Don't do that, right? You have Whale. Now this card is tenderness. And this message says, so show compassion and forgive what needs to be forgiven. The showing compassion and the tenderness is towards yourself, and the forgiveness is what's going to allow you to unburden yourself. Think of the movie The Titanic when Rose is standing at the front of the ship and she's like, I can fly. Do you want to fly? Want to feel that sense of freedom? Reclaim your power, my friend, by releasing whatever is burdening you, whatever is haunting you, whatever is holding on to you. And when I say haunting, I mean, things from the past. There's only so much internal room to squish that stuff down and pack it back in, the back 40 of your mind somewhere. There's only so much room back there. So you gotta let it go. And I know how hard that is. I spent 9.5 years trying to let it go. I know how hard it is. It took me 9.5 years to let go. So I get it. No judgment coming from me. I'm just saying, I'm suggesting that you consider giving it a shot, because it may not work the first time. You may have to do it 5 times, 3 times, 2 times, 20 times, depending on, what you've been through. But you can always start. And how you start is by doing some of the things that we suggested yesterday, doing a release ceremony, right? Writing down your thoughts on a piece of paper, saying it out loud to whoever you want to say it to, yourself, to the universe, to a bunch of people. Set fire to it, put some action to it, and just let it go. Go outside right now to the sun or to the moon. Throw your hands up and say, I release all negativity, burdens, pains, past traumas, and I invite joy into my life. Just do that. Just do that. The point is, if you can recognize tomorrow or tonight or an hour from now that you did something to start this process to help yourself, and then you celebrate the fact that you took the initiative, that today you chose to push the stool out, one of my favorite sayings, you, my friend, are well on your way to being able to put your hands out at the front of that ship and experience that freedom of flying. Not literally, of course, but you know what I mean, right? Of course, the people around you get worried about you. They love you. But those people also need to understand, as I understand, because I've been through this, that you have to get to that moment where you realize that you have the power to change that. Right? You have the power to change that understanding. You have the power to change that perspective. You have the power to change that feeling, that narrative, that story, the past, the future. You have the power, but you need to be ready to understand that. And it took me 9.5 years to be ready to understand it. So until you're ready to accept that you have the power to change it, people like myself will be here to help you. That's why I'm here, is because I don't want someone to go through what I went through. That process was long and dangerous and unhealthy and very self-sabotaging. That's a nice word. So you have to want it and be willing to put in the work, right? And so be kind to yourself in the interim until that moment. My moment was literally, I went outside. I tell this story. I've told it before, and I'll quickly say it again. I went outside onto my front porch. I love nighttime. So, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I went outside onto my front porch. I was just sitting there, just minding my own business, staring up at the beautiful, my neighbor has a lovely, weeping willow tree. It's just gorgeous. And it was a beautiful summer night. I was watching the twinkly stars and staring at the tree blowing in the breeze. It was lovely. It's very serene and peaceful that time of night to me. And I just sort of was sitting there taking it all in. And the next thing I know, I was crying. I wasn't sobbing, but, little tears running down my face. And I was like, oh my God, I did this to myself. Why that moment? I don't know. Why then? Meaning, why not 6 months prior? I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. I wish to God that I did. Because I could help so many people if I could say why then. I feel. All I can tell you is that I was putting in the time, and I was putting in the effort, and I was putting in the work, and I was doing it every day, many times a day, for a really long time. And when I say a really long time, I mean for like the last year and a half, I had been doing the work every day. And it just kind of went light bulb moment. Oh, really? Yeah, I'm listen. So I'm sure that my mom is here with me. So, unfortunately, I do have a lot of people that have passed over in my life, and our spirit is here with me. Whatever it is, I welcome it, as long as it isn't negative. Because then we're gonna have a problem, friends. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is what I want you to say, Liz, and I'm not trying to turn this into a personal therapy session because it's not really fair to you to put your stuff out on the internet or to the other people in the chat. But this is what I want you to say. That stuff right there that you're saying every day is a struggle, and I'm not saying that you don't do this or that you do this. Just a word of wisdom from someone who has lived this experience. Try as hard as you can. Be very conscious of the words that you use. Do not say, today is a struggle. Today is rough. Today is tough. Today sucks. Today is a bad day. Don't do that. Don't do that. Every day, everything that you say, everything that you think, everything that you write, you have to be very, 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 very conscious that you try to inject as much positivity as possible into it. That is the only way that you are going to reteach yourself and your mind and your ears to hear, see, and think in a more positive way. When you start thinking in a more positive way, things start to shift, right? Because there are blessings in everything. And that is the understanding. When you swing your understanding around to that, that's when you can see things differently. Because all of a sudden, the thing that was the problem, the thing that was causing the tension and the stress and the chaos, it seems more manageable. It didn't change. It didn't go away. Nothing worse or not worse happened. The significance or the impact did not change. What changed is how you are handling it, how you feel about it, how you view it, how you think about it, right? So that's just like that's an important, and to me, tip to other people to be really, really, really cognizant of how you say things, right? You have to be really conscious of not putting that negativity out there, because I tell you, friend, you can mess yourself right up. If you do that whole woe is me thing, man, you can bring your party down like no time flat. Don't do that to yourself. You deserve better. You do. And I'm not perfect. I say negative stuff all the time. But you really have to and it's funny because I think that the point is that when you pay attention to how negative you are saying things, the negativity that you're putting out, you are like, wowzers, I really, yikes. I tell this story too all the time, and I'll leave you guys with this because I do have to go. So way long ago, working in the office, I used to have this guy that I worked with that would come in every day and be like, you'd say, hi, so-and-so, how are you? And they'd be like, I'm fantastic. And you'd be like, oh my God, whatever. Like, you're so annoying, right? And then after a while, I was like, why am I looking at him saying you are so annoying because you said that you were fantastic and you got a big, beautiful smile on your face? Because I wasn't fantastic. That's why I was annoyed. Not because he felt fantastic, but because I wasn't. And I thought, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. So the next time that someone says to me, how am I? I'm going to say, I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. How are you? Do you know what I found? When I did that, people actually wanted to talk to me. Something's in the closet. I have to watch this back and check it out. So it's cognitive behavioral therapy. It's an actual thing. It's not, something that I just thought of, and you have to be really, really conscious of the way that you phrase things, the way that you say things, because you are your best advocate. You are your best therapist in this moment. And if you can decrease the negativity that you put out, you start to view the outside things a lot easier, and you will find that people will come closer to you, that you will have more support, you will start to feel less pressure, less stress. It's a real thing, I promise you that. Yeah. It's not, you know what, it's not even the positive thoughts so much as it is the positivity mindset, right? It absolutely does, Liz. It literally has a chokehold on you. Yep, 4:25 on clock behind me. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah, I go on with Ali at 6. So I want to take a break in between. But I so enjoyed today. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Bear with me while I navigate this first week. And then next week, it is what it is. I make no apologies because I'm switching from daytime to nighttime, and, I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5:30 or 7, whatever it is, depending, the days change, looking after all the animals, doing my thing. And by this time I'm tired. But I'm so used to going, having all day free and then going on at nighttime that this is like, oh my God, what? And I'm not going to lie, I got myself a little bit nervous, and then I didn't sleep, and then I didn't sleep again. And so anyway, I'm not beating myself up for it. You all showed up, and it was a great stream, and I appreciate all of you, and I can't thank you enough for your constant love and encouragement, and you're truly inspirational to me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being my support system. And so please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. That's always important. And I appreciate all of you. Hi, Linda. Were you in here the whole time and I didn't say hi to you? I'm a horrible person. I'm so sorry, my friend. How could I not say hi to you? The daily videos will return on Monday, my friend. They may look a little different than they did before. They might not be as long, but I will bring those back because I feel some sort of way, right? Linda is one of those people that watched the daily videos, as many others did, and I feel bad that I sort of took those away, and I can't really do the daily reading justice here in this stream. Anyway, I will say goodbye. Have yourselves a great evening, and I will be back tonight at 6 p.m. on Heart and Soul Connected with Ali. Obviously, it's her channel, and Gerald for rock, paper, scissors readings, and then tomorrow, I don't know what's happening tomorrow. Honestly, I don't even know what day it is right now, so I don't know what's happening tomorrow. It's Wednesday tomorrow, right? I'll be back here. That's where I'll be. I'll be here. Sorry. See what I mean, friends? It's hard. All right. Have yourselves a good day. Oh, you were just listening? All right, my friend. Then I don't feel too badly for not acknowledging you. But thank you for being here. It means a lot to me. means an awful lot to me. So you guys have a great afternoon, and I will see you later, okay? I wish you many blessings. Bye for now.